Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to an ELC game courtesy of Arturo Steele here. And as you can see, yeah, 3 gun marks, and in fact he says in the chat there that he's, as of playing this game, only just 3 gun marked it, although this is a slightly older replay, so it's been a little while at this point, but he's no stranger to this tank is what I'm getting at. This is clearly a tank he's played a fair bit. And it's a fun machine, it really is a highlight of the French light tank line. It's probably one of the most fun machines on the French light tank line, in fact. And there was a bit of trepidation when people learned it was going to be changed, but it seems like it won't be so bad once the light tank lines get stretched out over 10 tiers. So it's still going to have a 90mm gun, it'll just have less penetration. Sorry, setting himself up to spot and actually gets an early hit on that E8 Fury, but meanwhile, we've just had a message pop up about a team kill. Okay, that's not a good start. Was it accidental? No, it does not seem like it was accidental at all. The artillery, the tier 4 arty, seems to have, from what I can tell, damaged one of the T-150s, I'm guessing by accident, and the T-150 just immediately killed him and turned blue. So this isn't the first team damage that this guy had done in the last couple of battles. Okay, so that's not a great start. And then we have yet another team kill. We have somehow the tier 4 Czech medium tank getting a team kill on the Stug 3. So this has really not been a good start at all. When you have this kind of beginning to a game, it doesn't really bode well, does it? It does not fill you with confidence. So, yeah, that's not great. So, Arturo himself, I mean, he had a little trade with the Chaffee, and the Chaffee came off much worse because he wasn't in a position to take the hit and just keep firing. It was definitely in Arturo's favour, because, of course, this 90mm gun, it's a very nice gun, but it has a long reload. So if you can take peekaboo shots, then it's absolutely fine, but when it comes to a fair fight on open ground, you might well find yourself in trouble, because you don't have a lot of armour, and you don't have a lot of hit points. He did, however, somehow get a bounce. There's a shell that went into his tracks and didn't do a lot of damage, so yes, that was a bit lucky that he didn't lose any more health at that point. So he relocates, because otherwise the Chaffee would just be auto-spotting him. But it's about to not matter, because the Jagdpanzer IV just goes for it. But he's going to take a lot of damage in return. Now, one thing to note, apart from the fact that this is extremely good matchmaking for the ELC, as it currently is, as a tier 5 light tank, is that their team kill aside, has a lot of tank destroyers. So even if they hadn't lost a tank destroyer and the artillery, they're still almost at a disadvantage, because the enemy team has a much bigger armour and hit points advantage, especially at the top of the team, than Arturo's team does. And that is proving to be rapidly apparent. The mediums and heavies that did go up to the northwest corner are getting completely slaughtered. In fact, the last one just has been slaughtered. So all that's left is Arturo and a bunch of tank destroyers. So yeah, sometimes matchmaking does do this, unfortunately. It stacks the deck in one team's favour. And even if there hadn't been those team kills, it still would have been, just from the inherent nature of having a lot of tank destroyers, a bit of a harder fight for Arturo's team. But then you've got team kills and people not playing very well, so that really doesn't help. But at the end of the day, it does all come down to player skill. You can have this kind of matchmaking mismatch and yet still completely ruffle stomp the other side, just because the players are so much better. But that isn't the case this time. Arturo is rapidly running out of teammates, so this is really not looking good. Now he is plugging away. He's been using the spotting of his allies to actually do some damage, and the fact that he can sit here and be unspotted means that he's not having to re-aim his gun, because the gun handling on this, as with all the French light tanks, is pretty horrible. Meanwhile, an Su-85 pops up behind him. That's an easy one shot. So he gets close, then pulls the trigger. He doesn't want to take the risk I mean, that's firing on the move in this thing. It can be hilarious, but it is always a risk. Even at that range, his gun still might have missed, at which point life gets a little bit awkward. So with the last of his allies going down, a Dickomax, he's now alone, 1 versus 6. This is going to be a tall order, a very, very tall order. Now it's in counter, so it's going to take longer to cap, just inherently. So that works in his favour. He's got an ELC in this matchmaking, that works in his favour, but he does not really have a lot of armour or hit points to work with, and especially if any of the enemy team have a derp gun, it's very bad news. He could easily just get one-shotted, so he's got to play smart. He does have some advantages, but he's also got some big disadvantages. So he lines up for that mouse droid, the IKV-65, and gets a nice hit in, but not enough to kill him. Relocates, assumes he's going to be spotted, but he doesn't actually get spotted. So my guess is, even though there's no camo on the tank itself, he's got a camo crew on this machine, and it's already a small machine. It's already got just inherently good camo. So we know that IKV is still alive but low health. Oh, spots an opportunity for the T-150. If you could maybe kill that guy. No, never mind. That was a bit of a chancy shot to take. I mean, it was not fully aimed and also relatively long range, although this is quite an accurate gun once you've fully aimed it. But in that case, he didn't have time to fully aim it. The T-150 was about to go behind cover. Now, at some point, the enemy team are just going to get bored and start capping, and in fact, that is the point at which it starts happening. Looking at the minimap, there's a chance it's the Churchill 7, could also be the KV-1 or maybe the VK-3001H. Those were the three closest. The IKV as well, potentially he could have gotten there in this time, because it's quite a fast machine. Now, talking of Swedish tank destroyers, the remaining unspotted enemy tank, or tank destroyer in this case, the tier 4 M/43, turns out he's AFK, and Arturo does a thing here. He loads an HE shell knowing it's going to be a one-shot, but he could have, I mean, there was a chance it would be a one-shot with the AP anyway, and maybe it was more about preserving his AP ammo, but either way, it's cost him a reload. Even if he'd fired AP and needed to fire again, it still cost him a reload. It's just it's cost him less ammo this way. So that's 2 in the cap now. The pressure's on a little bit. If he can pull this off, it will be an amazing carry. He really does need to use his advantages wisely. So he's going to reposition to get some fire down into the cap. There are actually a couple of bushes here he can use. Now, amazingly, he doesn't get spotted, so there's that camo value coming in. I'm guessing this KV-1, who looked like he was stock when we saw him earlier on, so maybe he doesn't have a very good crew. The KV-1 does not spot him at all, and even when he fires, still not spotted. So he sets up again, but oh, there's that VK, so okay. He clearly isn't spotting everything that's in the cap. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. The reload is starting to work against him at this point. So yeah, he hasn't spotted everything because having hit the KV-1 and getting that reset, in fact reset twice now, he's still starting to run out of time quite badly, so he's got to reset whatever else it is, and it looks like it's that T-150. So tries to finish off the VK, so he's got a clear shot, but never mind. Doesn't actually work out. It wasn't like it was relying on auto aim there, and honestly with the VK's armor, like you just have to hit it. So he does with that that third shot finally get the VK, but it's getting a bit close, a little bit close. He's just got enough time to reload, but he has to aim because it has to count. But oh, just in the nick of time. So he takes out that KV-1, but the KV-1 didn't have a lot of cap points, so he has to finish off whatever else is in there. Now this is a fast machine, but he has very little time, and rather than try and drive by the T-150, I mean, we know there's something else in the cap, so he comes around. It's the IKV, it's the other mouse droid, or not the other mouse droid, it's the mouse droid from earlier, but he's just not quite fast enough. And that's so unfortunate, because it looked like the T-150 would have been a one-shot, but also he would have been a one-shot for the T-150 if he had the... I didn't actually see what gun he had there. So that was so close. That was so close to being an amazing carry, but just a fraction too slow getting round there. Obviously, the pressure was on. I mean, an ace tanker on a defeat is a very good result, but I think the pressure being on at the end there, if he'd hit the T150, he would have bought himself all the time he needed, and instead it didn't work out that way. So yes, despite the lackluster nature of his teammates, quite a lot of his team in fact did 0 damage, and obviously those the 2 team kills as well. He nearly pulled that off. He nearly did, but I think just that slight miscalculation at the end there, if he'd set himself up to hit the T150, whom I think he could have from a distance, instead of zooming in like that, maybe he didn't realise the T150 was the one with the cap points. Who knows? But either way, even if he'd killed the T150, he still would have had a Churchill 7 to deal with, so it's not like it would have been guaranteed from that point, but Churchill 7 versus an ELC, it's pretty much in the ELC's favour, so I think his chances would have been good, but oh well. These things don't always work out. That was a very good effort though, an extremely good effort. So hopefully you've enjoyed this bit of high-octane ELC action, and if you have, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the like button, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.